YTBC, what's the deal? Now, we know we're all in anticipation for Eddie Hearn to announce who Anthony Joshua is going to fight. But I seen an interesting article on BoxingScene.com. I will leave the article in the description box as usual. It's the title is David Haye tells Joshua not to risk his O before they fight. I'm just going to read some quotes from it that David Haye had to say, then I'm comment on it. Okay, he says, it would hurt his plans. It would be a setback, stated Haye. It would make a fight with him not as interesting and not worth as much money. At the minute, people are giving him a shot against me. That's what makes it interesting. But if he loses to someone, how interesting would it be then? People will see his flaws and maybe not want to see him fight me. If he gets the opportunity to fight an eliminator for the world title, I'll be there supporting him as much as anyone. Anything that makes our fight bigger, I'm all for it. That sounds, like the right thing for David Haye to say. If there's a prospect of you and this guy actually fighting, you want him to stay undefeated, keep his luster, keep putting on great performances. That's better for you. You know what I mean? Then he goes on to say, I've been out injured longer than he's had his professional career. I was a world heavyweight champion before he had even started boxing. I'm way further in front of him in terms of development and experience. He can't catch up on that in 1 year. I've been a pro for 12 years. I'm not sure what he's going to learn in the next year and a half, which will catch up on that. Well, you can learn a lot in a year and a half. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson became champion, what, a year and 8 months or something like that? So I mean, a fighter can learn a lot in a year and a half. And speaking of Mike Tyson, a lot of people are comparing just the raw power of Anthony Joshua to that of a young Mike Tyson, although Mike Tyson was much younger than Anthony Joshua is at this stage of his career. But Haye does have a point. He wants to keep this guy undefeated. Joshua's really popular over in the UK, did 400,000, and we can break that down. I've had people from the UK break it down to me that the pay-per-views are lower than here in America. So that means that more people can. Okay, well, with all that said, 400,000 people bought the motherfucking pay-per-view, whether it was $1. You know what I mean? 400,000 people wanted to see him fight White that night. So, and then David Haye did his thing with, was it Dave TV or whatever, and they're on YouTube. That turned out to be great. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was a success from what I've heard, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on it, but I think that was a success. I watched it on YouTube, you know what I mean? Watched the whole card. So I understand what David Haye is saying, but right now David Haye is giving me the impression that he really wants just to cash out. And could you really blame him? I mean, he is approaching 40. He is on the other side of his 30s, you know what I mean, that 35 range. So I don't think he plans on sticking around for 4 or 5 years. I think he's trying to get big money fights and call it a day. I don't really see him trying to, unless these guys do something to garner a fight with him, I don't see him trying to say, give me Dillian White so I can work on some things, or give me Huey Fury, or I don't see him doing that. I see him just saying, give me Anthony Joshua, and if, God forbid, if the fight can get made, possibly him and Tyson Fury, although Tyson Fury has went on and stated that if David Haye became his mandatory, he would just vacate his title instead of dealing with David Haye. We know their past history of the canceled fights, blah, blah, blah. So David Haye is trying to micromanage almost Anthony Joshua's career through the media, kind of. Almost. Yes, he wants him to stay undefeated, but he sees something in Anthony Joshua. He knows he's inexperienced. He knows that. Now he can go on, and it's funny because he knows he's inexperienced, but he also knows it's his biggest fight. It's the biggest name out there. But I think to me, David Haye, he's been out, since 2012, came back and fought Mark Demore last month. But to tell you the truth, he's still inactive to me. And you may say, what do you mean? He trained. Okay, so as far as a nice training camp, you're right. He did go through a training camp, the grueling, efforts of a training camp. But David Haye seems like the type of guy that keeps himself in shape anyways. I'm not saying he keeps himself in training camp shape year round, but maybe he does. I don't train with the guy, but Mark Demore fight didn't prove anything. Mark Demore threw 6 punches that I counted. If you counted more, please tell me the punches you saw. I seen him throw 2 jabs, a left hook, and I think he threw 3 overhand rights, and one of them landed on David Haye's glove. I can't take anything away from that fight. Yes, you went in there and did what you have to. It was not David Haye's fault, but I'm just saying that wasn't a fight. That wasn't a fight to me, man. It wasn't a fight. Yes, it was a professional prize fighting match that took place, but it wasn't a fight inside the ring that night. To me, he's almost still inactive. But he did get the good sparring in the training camp, but shit, still inactive to me. You know what I mean? And then he announced his comeback, and he was talking about coming back last summer. So he's been in the gym. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? And then this new fighting at 227, this is still a new version of David Haye. This isn't the fast-handed guy who you gave a chance of beating Vladimir Klitschko and that sparked, Ali Harrison and John Ruiz, and he got the victory over Valuev. This isn't that, 217. Now, he did come in at 222 against Ruiz, but he's, the Haye I know comes in at that 210. He looked spectacular against Chisora. He looked good in Chisora fight. That's the Haye that I want to see, you know what I mean? But still, 228 isn't fat. I'm not saying he's fat, but he is heavy up top now as far as across his shoulders, and that will slow down your hand speed. I don't care. You could be fucking Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather. It doesn't matter. If you start getting muscle on those shoulders, man, and start getting big across and, strapping across the chest, it's going to slow down your hand speed. Doesn't mean he's slow, and he will still be one of the more quick-handed guys. But this, coming out with his hands, I don't know. It's a new David Haye to me. So I'm still trying to get used to this David Haye, but I still haven't seen anything yet. So they haven't announced who Anthony Joshua's going to fight yet. Who knows? By the time I get this uploaded, he may have a fight. Now, they're throwing out Chisora. I've heard Haye. I've heard Charles Martin. That's the hot name that's going around right now. Was there another name? I know it's Chisora, Haye, Martin. Somebody else I'm forgetting. Joseph Parker. They're going back and forth in the media right now, calling each other out. Going back and forth. And their fan base is going edit on my page, man. Shouts out to Team Joshua and Team Parker, man. A lot of support from you guys on my page. But what do you guys think about David Haye giving his opinion about Anthony Joshua? Now, yeah, of course, he has to stay undefeated and make their fight bigger. I know that. But do you guys think David Haye is just around just to, kind of ride Joshua's, I'm not going to say ride his coattail, because he has made his own history with the cruiserweight titles and, being a titleist at heavyweight and having a portion of the heavyweight championship. Do you think that right now he's just around to get that one big last payday and call it a day? Or do you think that David Haye is not only trying to beat Joshua, but go on and win titles? What do you think? I know what he have said in interviews that he's trying to come back and do whatever. But what do you think as fans? What do you genuinely think that Haye is trying to do right now in his career? Me, I think he's trying to cash out. Nothing wrong with that. But I think he's trying to cash out. And I think he's trying to cash out particularly on Anthony Joshua. YTBC. I'm out.